So, welcome back, guys. Today, this is your host Sanjeev Bhatia back again with another video. So, today I have picked up a very important topic that I guess is very important for your CLAT 2020 and CLAT 2021 and CLAT 2022. Also, you can keep an eye on this affair because it's going to be a very important affair because in the political scenario of India, Jammu and Kashmir have always played a very big role, right? So before I move ahead, I would like to inform you again that we meet on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is our Wednesday session, and we'll be meeting on Friday with another session about CLAT and some talks about CLAT. And today we have met about this special new land laws that have come up in Jammu and Kashmir. Right. So first, as we move ahead, I would request all of you to hit the like button and the subscribe button so that we can pop up on your screen whenever we are having a live session again, right? So the first thing that comes up in your mind when you talk about Jammu and Kashmir right now is what happened in August, right? That is the removal of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. So that was a very, very serious issue that was pertaining in the legal history of India for a very long time, and it has been flowing down from so many years, and it was finally removed. And there are a lot of changes that are coming up in the state after the removal of that article, right? So if you see, firstly, why was Jammu and Kashmir such a big issue, right? And why, what are these new land laws that are coming up? So earlier it was an issue because there were no people who were allowed to buy land in Jammu and Kashmir until and unless they were born there and they're the inhabitants of Jammu and Kashmir, right? But now there are reforms that are being brought after removal of Article 370 because the government wants a lot of involvement of the common public to come up in the laws and in the state. As per whatever has been happening for so long, there's no development that has happened. So with the purview of so-called development, they have put up some new land laws in Jammu and Kashmir. So first, I will explain you what are these new laws, what is exactly is being told in those new laws, how they have distinguished between agricultural and non-agricultural land. And you'll be able to understand that who basically can buy a land and what are the after effects also, like what can happen if you have bought a land in Jammu and Kashmir and what all other rules will be followed on your land, right? So the first thing that comes up while we are discussing about Jammu and Kashmir, what are the new laws basically doing, right? So the new law allow any Indian citizen to purchase non-agricultural land in the Union Territory. So we know that after the Reorganization Act, the two states, one is Jammu and Kashmir, the other one is Leh Ladakh. They both had been bifurcated in Union territories. So Jammu and Kashmir is now separated from Leh Ladakh. So it comes from the Reorganization Act, right? Now, this new law allows the person to buy this land in this Union territory, even if to buy a non-agricultural land. Now, these rules have omitted any need of domicile, right, or permanent residency. As I told you that earlier, a person either has to be born and brought up in Jammu and Kashmir or has some kind of permanent residence certificate in Jammu and Kashmir, then only he can buy land in Jammu and Kashmir. Now that prerequisite has been removed completely. There is no need for that. Now coming to the next part, right? Now the significance is still now only permanent residents of J&K buy land in certain regions, right? There is certain significance of that, right? Many are suggesting that this marks the completion of Article 370, right? Why? Because earlier the major drawback that was being faced by the whole country was that they were not able to buy land in Jammu and Kashmir. But there are certain other reasons like Himachal Pradesh also, where some places you are not allowed to buy land, right? So it's not been exclusive to Jammu and Kashmir per se, but it has been existing in other states, but it has been always in light because of the political drama that exists in our country, right? And it has been the biggest political agenda that have existed so far in the political history as I remember myself to be watching it, right? So whenever you will see Jammu and Kashmir has always been an issue. So that's why some people are saying that this comes to the end of the completion of the cycle of Article 370 and towards the end of closing of this fight. Right? Now coming to the next part is that Who can buy land in Jammu and Kashmir? This is the major concern, right? Now, the non-agricultural land or the land in urban areas for purchase of outsiders require no prerequisite of permanent residence. They can be a resident of India, or if they want to buy land from anywhere in the country, they can, right? The second is they don't put any restrictions on the amount of land that they can buy for residence or a shop, right? It exists in certain areas in Himachal Pradesh, as I've told you, that there is a restriction on the quantum of area that you can have, right? Next is agricultural land can only be purchased by agriculturalists or people engaged in farm related activities. So they don't want to destroy their farmlands. So they have kept it very simple that the person who will buy an agricultural land will do agriculture in Jammu and Kashmir and will not use it for a non-agricultural purpose. But if they want to use it for a non-agricultural purpose, they can take the permission of the person who's requisite, right? For taking that permission, governor of that state, they can take the permission from them, and then they can convert that land into any other non-commercial, into commercial use and non-agricultural use, right? That is possible, right? Now, no sale or gift or exchange or mortgage of any land will be in the favor of person who is not into agriculture unless a government or an officer authorized by in his behalf may grant permission for the same. That's what I've told you, that they can take the permission if they want to use it for any other purpose. That is possible. Now, under Section 133H in the Agrarian Reforms Act, the center has completely barred the sale of agricultural land to non-agriculturists, right? They have completely barred it. They don't want them to be converted into a building or a citizen, like in a township or a mall or anything of that sort. But it has provided several situations under which they can sell it. That's the whole rule of law in our country. When a law is being made, there's always an exception that is given to the law. That's how it functions. So that has been done, that in certain cases, it can be sold, right? Now, coming to the next part, is the land for the strategic purpose. This is a new addition, right? That is being put in that land laws for Jammu and Kashmir. You have to understand that the first thing is that there are some places which are of strategic importance for the army, right? Now, what they can do is the army officer who is not below the rank of corps commander can declare an area as strategic area within a local area, right? They can declare that this place is strategic for us. So that land can be used directly for them for any training or any operational functions for the armed forces. They can use it for the army without any problem, right? But it has to be declared by the army officer who's not below the rank of corps commander, right? So that is also a prerequisite that has been added, but you can see that an importance to the army is given on the first hand in this state. Why? Because of such an existing violence and such a scenario in the country regarding the state. And the most important part about the state is that it borders most of the most important demographic boundaries with two most important countries that we think in our neighbor is, one is China, right, which has been a very long debate which can exist for another day, and the other one is Pakistan, right? So we have these two borders, right, which have been in conflict for a very long period of time. That's why this area has been of army importance, and you can say that strategic importance. So that's why this act has been reformed in a way so that army also has a stay in taking up locations which are of strategic importance, and no local people can come up and make up a base there, right? And the army can use it for their operations and training purposes, right? So I hope everybody is clear about that part. Now, there were certain laws that were abolished by this, right? I have given a list of these laws. You can click a screenshot if you want of these laws, but these are the basics. First is J&K Alienation of Land Tax Samvad, Big Land Estate Abolition Act, Common Lands, Consolidates of Holdings, right? Land Improvement Schemes, prevention of fragmentation of agricultural holdings, right? So these are the type of acts that were being abolished from the J&K and their new laws were brought up at the same point of time, right? Now, as we have discussed all these new laws that were about to come, right? So we have to also understand that JNK also holds a very big importance for the Article 370. So all the people who are preparing for CLAT should prepare Article 370 very properly, because there will be a lot of questions that will come up, and these new land reforms that are being coming up in Jammu and Kashmir are also of very major importance, right? So you can keep all these things in mind, right? And I will also request the people to comment in the today's videos that what are new things that they want to discuss in the channel, and is there anything that we can increase, or any intense topics that they have thought that they've not been able to deal, or they've read it and not understood it, we can definitely go ahead. So I have some questions that are coming up. So it's Charlene who has asked me, sir, I've started reading the newspaper with stopwatch, but I do not know how can I practice peripheral vision reading. So as Charlene, you are an old student and we have discussed about peripheral vision, right? So you have to understand that it is not something that's gonna come in one day, right? It's not going to start in a day. You have to give a good amount of time for it. And if you are not able to get it, see, it is a very subjective thing, right? It might have worked for me, it might not work for you. So you have to see that if it's not working for you, you can find out your own strategy regarding the same, and you can go ahead with that, right? You don't have to follow everything blindly. If you have tried it and you think that it's not going to work for you, you can move ahead with some other strategy on the same, right? So, and if you are reading the comprehension passages or any editorial, you have to first make sure that are you able to understand it on the first go. That is the first thing that you have to make sure. Your speed, your stopwatch, everything will go, but you have to understand that are you understanding each and every line? Are you able to answer all the questions in one go? That should be the most important thing that you have to remember here. Rather than having a speed, make sure you have understanding of the passage, right? Because if you're spending more time on understanding, that means you don't have to spend a lot of time on reading it again while you're solving the question. So that is the most important thing. If peripheral vision doesn't work, move ahead with that. Find a new strategy for yourself, how you can read better, right? But this helps. Like if you can practice, that works. Okay. So Anshita said that you want a video on farm laws. Okay. Next Wednesday, Anshita, we'll do farm laws, right? So thanks for your response, guys. I hope you will drop me like a comment on the video, and I'll be able to understand what you exactly want. If you are writing any other exams on SLAT, AILET, CLAT, MHCT, LSAT, I have discussed almost all the exams, right? And I have also given a 2-month strategy session for all those who are preparing for the exam. You can look at that also. If you want, I'll put it in the comments also, so you can refer to those videos also. So yes, Charlie, we can do a video on Babri case. We can definitely do that. We'll discuss and we'll go ahead with that. I'll be putting putting a state schedule for the same, and you can check it out, and we'll be discussing the Babri and the farm laws definitely, right? So best of luck, guys. Hope to see you on Friday with another session. I'll be sharing the link with everyone for the 2-month strategy session and any other cases. I have also discussed MJ Akbar and Mrs. Priya Ramani case. You can also look at that. That is also a very important case that will be coming up for your CLAT examination, right? So it was a great session. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you again on Friday. Stay safe, wear your mask, use your hand sanitizers, and maintain social distancing, right? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye and take care.